Perfect.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Gail Hunter and I'm the president of OMA. And I am grateful that all of you are here, and I think it's going to be an exciting evening spent with Irina. We have had her speak before, but I don't know if you've ever spoken on the on this topic. I know you've spoken on it, but not maybe for OMA. So thank you. And Irina's journey towards spiritual awakening began probably more than 25 years ago. And she experienced a big shift, a huge shift, when she was attuned to a new energy frequency of the electromagnetic field balancing technique and the right reconnected healing. Without planning it in advance, she began to expand her practice and giving different lectures and presentations. She is also engaged in the holistic energy practices and specializes in the EMF balancing technique. She also offers her wisdom and expertise in the Akashic records, in teaching classes, lectures, and workshops throughout the Pittsburgh area. She also divides her time between her family, her spiritual practice, a real estate business, and she plays the cello for the Pittsburgh Civic Orchestra. If you've not had an opportunity to take a class from Irina, please don't hesitate to do that, because she is an incredible, gifted teacher and healer, and her wisdom is superb, and I know you will thoroughly enjoy it. I'm going to let her talk about the Indigo children and where they're all coming from. One quick message before I turn it over to Irina. We are in the process of obviously turning everything virtually, I think. And so we have a committee for, two committees going. One is for the lecture series that we will be doing virtually. And if anybody is interested in being a member on that committee and helping, please email me at gail.hunter@omapittsburgh.org. The other committees that we're looking at are trauma programs that we have for adult youth and community. And if you are interested in one of those programs, also email me and I will send you some copies of some information. So please welcome Irina Granдлер, spiritual counselor, energy practitioner, teacher, and our very special speaker for tonight. Irina, thank you.
Thank you very much, Gail. It's always a pleasure to be at OMA, no matter if it's in person or online. Of course, in person is, I would say, better, but we just take what we have and what we can. Thank you for everybody to being here. And I will start with sharing my screen, because I created this presentation for you, so you will be able to still see me, and at the same time you will be able to look at the slides that I have ready for you. So we're going to talk about Indigo Star Nation, and the topic is very popular right now, because we all know that there is something special going on with kids. They display unusual psychological abilities, and they show some behavioral patterns that have never been documented before. So we know something is going on, and I just wanted to share with you my experience, what I see about them. I'm not saying that I'm the ultimate authority out there, but I do attract a lot of those. So that's why I have my own experience. So here's the plan of my presentation. First, we will talk about who the Indigos are. We will talk where they come from and why they are here now. Of course, we will talk about how to recognize an Indigo, because a lot of people think that the name Indigo is actually, they kind of put the name to all kids who have high level of vibrational level, high consciousness, but they are not necessarily Indigos. So if you want to really be specific and technical, I will tell you the difference. But if you mean by Indigo everybody who has high consciousness, it's okay as well. We will talk about what you should know if you have an Indigo in your family, because there are special kids and they need special attention, like as everybody. And we will also talk about how to help indigos to adjust to our society, because it's not very easy for them for very specific reasons, and we will also talk about them. And we'll talk about a little bit the difference between indigos, crystals, and rainbow kids. They kind of all represent the same group, but they're a little bit different. So have a specific, like the general purpose of all of these kids is the same, but they all have their specifics, and I will also talk a little bit about it. And let me start with some misconceptions that are out there regarding indigos. And first, the name itself. A lot of people think that indigo means that they all have indigo auras. In fact, it's not true. The name came from Nancy Tapp. She, I don't know if she is here or if she was, but she was an energy practitioner who had a therapist who had a very specific disorder, which is called synesthesia, which means that people sometimes perceive, like their brain perceives things in a like not normal way. For example, the way she would describe it, that she can eat pasta and it will taste as if she's eating triangles. So just two absolutely different things. I don't know how somebody can put them together, but somehow she did. And since she worked with people a lot, and specifically with kids, at some point she started realizing that there are a lot of kids who have indigo type personality. So it's not really the color. It has nothing to do with aura. It's with it has to do with personality. And she just named this personality indigo. It could be pink, it could be green, it could be anything. But she named it the way she did, and the name stuck. So that's why we're all call them now indigos. But just remember, it has nothing to do with aura. It's just personality. The second misconception, or actually I have it all written here. The second misconception is connected with, we normally say that indigos are kids. But believe me, there are as many indigo children as there are indigo adults. And I will explain a little bit about this as well. Let's first talk about where they come from. So, as you know, there are different soul groups which incarnate on our planet. You can think about soul group as a nationality, but at soul level. Like, for example, here on Earth plane, we can talk about like Germans, Italians, Polish, I don't know, whatever. Same thing happens at soul level. And in a way, like all Italians are very talkative and loud, and all Germans are extremely organized. Of course, not every Italian is the same, not every German is the same, but in general, when you describe some nationality, you already have some idea what they look like. Same is true about nationalities at our soul level. So how these nationalities come to existence, how they are created. When we are created as souls, we are not created as individual souls. First, we are like a little part of a huge body of energy. Let's call it divine source. While we're within this body of energy, we do not recognize ourselves as individual souls. We're like drops of water in a big ocean. But while this drop is within the ocean, it's not an individual drop. Really, you have to get it out from the ocean, separate it from the ocean, and then it will become a drop of water. So same is true about soul. So while we're within divine source, we are all just little parts of something big. And then at some point, a soul might decide that it wants to experience what I am on individual level. And to do so, it will separate from divine source and become this little drop of water, individual. And then it might decide to incarnate into a physical body. Just because when we're in physical bodies, it's much easier to experience individuality. Because when we're in bodies, it's clear that me is me, you are you, and there's no confusion about it. So a soul starts picking the first planet where it wants to incarnate on. And there are many options out there. So Earth is not the only place where life is possible. And if you imagine yourself being a soul that is about to have its very first incarnation, and you probably feel uncomfortable because you just don't know what to expect from this new experience, that's why you will choose wisely. You will not go just anywhere. You will look for a place where you might feel comfortable, or at least you hope you will feel comfortable. And because soul is just energy, nothing more and nothing less than energy, so it will look for a planet with similar energies. And if it goes there and incarnates there, then it should be comfortable on this planet. So that's why it happens so that souls that are attracted to certain planets for their first incarnations, they're close energetically to each other, and they're close energetically to this planet. And all indigos, we believe that they come from a star system which is called Nihal. So you can see this. I found it somewhere on internet, but you can see this. Of course, Nihal is not a planet; it's a star. The thing is that somewhere within this star system there is a planet. We just don't know the name of the planet. That's why we normally call them by the name of the star. So just to make it clear. So why that's who they are. They are souls who come from a certain planet. There is a certain soul group which has certain characteristics. So according to Dolores Cannon, and you probably everybody heard about her, she is the founder of quantum healing hypnosis, and just fascinating to read her books. We have some people in Pittsburgh who actually practice her quantum healing hypnosis. So if you want to Google it, you will find them. So according to Dolores, we started seeing many indigos after Second World War. According to my experience, they were here even before that. But they were extremely rare nation or nationality here on Earth. Like the way I see it, they would come, incarnate, look around, and say, there is nothing much for me to do here right now, and then just go back to wherever they came from. But situation really changed dramatically after Second World War. So if you remember history, at the very end of the Second World War, there were 2 atomic bombs dropped on Japan. And we were very close to destroying our planet, to destroying ourselves. And of course, there are higher spiritual beings who are watching us, who are sort of taking care of us, who doesn't want us, who do not want us to destroy ourselves. But the thing is that they are not allowed to interfere, because we as humans were given free will. And if we at some point to decide to destroy ourselves, nobody can stop us, because it will be violation of our free will. But still, these higher beings, they came up with a plan. And the plan looks something like that. They put a big sign, energetic sign, all over universes and all over galaxies. And the sign said the following: volunteers needed. And they needed here and now. Just please come incarnate on this planet and start promoting consciousness from within. So the plan was that you can't interfere from the outside. But if these advanced souls come and incarnate into human bodies, then they can work on humanity from the inside. And it happened so that the souls from from Nihal star group, they resonated very much with this calling. And they started coming here, and they started coming here in 3 big groups, or 3 big waves, as we call them. So the first wave came right after the Second World War. It was 50s and 60s. So you can imagine that these people are no longer kids. They are far from being kids. So they are grandpas and grandmas. So don't be surprised to find Indigo grandma or grandpa. They're like, they happen to be here. They're common. Of course, not everywhere, but you need to know where to look for them. Second wave was in 80s and 90s. These are the most active right now. And the third wave, they are who are kids now. And in the third wave, we already have a combination of indigos, rainbow, crystal kids. And I will talk about all these 3 types a little bit later. So just one more time about their mission while they're here. So they come to promote consciousness from within our society. So they serve our planet, they serve communities, their families, parents, friends, like everybody who is around them. And now let's talk about how we can recognize an indigo. Of course, there is a very easy way to recognize them. It's just look into their Akashic records, because our Akashic records, it carries the information of everything that has been going on with the soul, starting from the moment of its origination from the divine source till the moment now. And of course, it carries information what planet the soul chose as its first planet of origination into a physical body. But I understand not everybody can do that. It requires certain training. So there are other ways to recognize them, because they definitely have certain characteristics. Here they are. Well, they are considered to be very conscious, very self-aware. They're naturally intuitive, and they're very often telepathic. Very often I talk with mothers of these indigo kids, and they will tell me that my kid is already like 3-4 years old and he almost doesn't talk. And the reason these kids do not talk is not because they, of course it's not about every indigo, but still sometimes they just don't talk because they don't need to. The mother would tell me, he looks at me and I know what he wants. So they just transmit their information telepathically. So then why bother and open your mouth and just talk if you can transmit it in an easy way. And then when they do start to talk, they talk in sentences. They just don't do separate words because they're ready. They just don't bother to do it. So intuition is probably their one of the biggest gifts. They all come with a gift of intuition. And if you have this kid in a family or or if you are one of those, the best thing you can do is trust your intuition, and if it's a kid, teach them to trust it, because that's why they're here. They are intuitive, and of course you'd better use your gift. They're very innovative, they're very creative, they're quick thinkers, they're very intelligent, and at the same time they might be naive. Why? Because they are new to this planet. You know, as I mentioned before, there are different types of souls that incarnate on this planet. There might be Earther souls that chose to incarnate only on Earth, and they are not interested in going anywhere else. And these are about 80% of all the souls that incarnate on Earth. The other 20% are those star travelers. Souls from Nihal are just being one of them. And if we talk about how many incarnations a soul can have on this planet, the oldest one, Earther souls, they can have several thousands, like 5,000, 6,000. Of course, we always have a combination of old and new souls. So you can meet a Earther soul that is here just having 10th incarnation, which is nothing. Star travelers started coming here later. Like, according to my experience, they have no more than 500 incarnations. But again, 500, it's again good experience. At least you can know the rules of this planet and know how to play the game here. All souls from Nihal, they are extremely new here. Doesn't mean that they are young souls. They can be very old, because we don't know how many incarnations they incarnated on their star, on their planet, or they might, after Nihal, they could go to any other stars or planets to incarnate in the world. So they can be very experienced souls, but they are new to this planet. And according, based on my experience, I never met an Indigo that had more than 10 incarnations here. Actually, very often it is less than 10. It can be sometimes 5. Sometimes I even meet those who have their very, very first incarnation here. So I see somebody is somebody having some technical problem. Cheryl saying, I'm not seeing the grid with the other participant, only seeing the lecturer. I think, Cheryl, what you should see is my presentation, and you see 4, maybe like several just people talking, that's it. Like the lecturer, and like I see 4 icons with other people. Zoom just works this way. When there is a presentation, you can see the whole grid. So that's the setting. So going back to Indigos. So that actually, the fact that they have very little small amount of incarnation here explains why they are naive, because they just don't know the rules, and everything is new to them, and they just don't know what to do with all this. So we really need to help them adjust to our society. They easily get bored and frustrated with systems which are based on repetition and which do not require creative thinking. Very often they get bored at school, because school, particularly school, is based on repetition, and they're really intelligent. They're quick thinkers. They hear it once, maybe twice, and they already know everything they need to know. And then they just don't know what to do with themselves. And then they start, I don't know, doing something wrong, what they're not supposed to do at school. And what we do, we immediately put on them a label that they have a ADD or ADHD, give them some drugs and just trying to calm them down. In fact, what they need to do, they need a different approach in learning. Just going over books, repeating, it's not their thing. They need to feel, to touch, to create, just to work with real stuff. And that will keep them really busy and entertained, and they will fulfill their purpose in this way. Very often they go against the rules of our society because these rules just do not make sense to them. Again, it's very often because they're very new and they just don't know them. So that's why when you, if you have an indigo in your family, it's kind of very important, on the one hand, not to overdo and not to try them fit too much in the society, because they come here to be different. Otherwise, they won't be able to fulfill their mission. Remember, their mission is to promote consciousness. So they have to show different consciousness in order to promote it. But you still want them to have life which is not too difficult. So they need to be taught some rules of how our society operates, and just use them as much as they can without ruining themselves. They have difficulties with an absolute authority. You can say an indigo, do that or do that. They would not just respond to that. They will do everything against this. I had a client who, at that time, she had an 8-year-old son who turned to be an indigo. And once she called me and she was really upset, and she said, I don't know what to do with him, but I can't have an 8-year-old run the whole household. He needs to listen to me, and he does not. And I asked her, can you give me some examples what he does wrong? And she said, of course, for example, a very simple example. We need to go somewhere, and I tell him, Lorenzo, will you please come to the kitchen because we need to fill your bottle with water? And he just doesn't come. And like these little things happen every day. And what I suggested to her is, instead of telling him, Lorenzo, please come, ask him, Lorenzo, when would you like to come? In 5 minutes or in 10? So we need to give them choices, because Lorenzo is immediately thinking he is the boss. He is the one who is making choice. And then he will be happy. He will be happy to reply to her, I will be there in 5 minutes. And he will come in 5 minutes and get his water bottle filled and go wherever they need to go. So 2 weeks later, she called me and said, you know, everything turned 180 degrees because now she's just starting giving him options. Of course, she gives him options within what she wants to give him, but he doesn't know it. He's still a kid. So he's an indigo, but he is still a kid as a human. So that's why there is a way to work with it. They do not normally respond to guilt, discipline. You know, sometimes moms like to say that, okay, your father will come and then he will show you. No, this won't work with the father. They very honest. They normally cannot lie because, again, they like one of their most biggest gift is truth, ability to see the truth in themselves, in others, and the ability to tell the truth. And sometimes this honesty even works against them. Again, a very simple example. My husband works in a company like they software designers, and by the way, a lot of Indigos, and we will talk about that, they are drawn to virtual world. So very often when they hire new people, some of them can be Indigos. Of course, I don't look into Akashic records of everybody's to determine it. But example, he told me not so long ago, I think it was about an Indigo. And my husband is the one who is interviewing them among the others. And he said, you know, these young kids, they're really weird right now. Just imagine this guy comes and we go through our like normal interview. So first we talk about all the technical stuff and everything is fine. And then we ask this traditional question, why do you want to work at our company? So what normally people reply? What we expect them to reply? Because I want to grow, I want the company to grow with me, so we all grow and everything is great. So it's beneficial for everybody. And this kid looks at them and says, you know, honestly, I don't want to work here, but I need some job. And your location of your office seems to be the one is like most convenient for me. So that's why I'm here. Do you think you will get hired? Probably not. But that's who they are. They just can't say what is not true. So again, we need to teach them to be a little bit more flexible. At least keep your mouth shut. Don't just do it if you want to get a job. And as I've said, they are drawn to virtual medium of connection to virtual world. And one of the reasons of course, not every Indigo works in IT area, of course not. They work everywhere. But the thing is, because they're telepathic, and this is virtual world is the closest you can get to their telepathic world, which they had on their home planet, on Nihal. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but there is a lot of information from many different sources which says that on Nihal it was or it is still a water world, and they were something like dolphins there. A lot of when you work with Indigos and they go back into their past lifetimes, even like not on this planet but on other planets, they talk about water and they talk about swimming, and they all say we're dolphins. And maybe that's why they will like dolphins so much. I don't know, but there is definitely some connection between dolphins and Indigos, and that's how dolphins communicate, also telepathically. So, and this virtual medium is something that is close to that. And also I talked already about the fact that their consciousness vibrates at a very high level. So I want to talk a little bit more about it. And if you look at the next slide, here is a, like I could call it a chart with vibrational levels of consciousness. So we know that everything vibrates in this world, right? Our body vibrates, our consciousness vibrates. Quantum physics tells us that there are 12 levels of vibrations. And the difference between these levels is in the frequency of vibrations. Level number 1 will be the level of physical world. Here on Earth, it will be something like stones, minerals. Just think about a mountain. Nothing changes there for centuries, so because everything vibrates very slowly. The highest vibrational levels are the levels between 8 to 12. These are the levels of divine source. It's when we're all parts little parts of this huge ocean we talked about earlier. So here we don't have a sense of our individuality. When a soul separates from the source, just in order to separate, it has to start vibrating a little bit differently. That's why normally it will lower its vibrational level to level 7. Here it is. So here at level 7, our soul vibrates as an individual soul. There is still no physical body because vibrations are very high. So physical body cannot exist there. And then this soul vibrating at level 7, it can decide to incarnate into a human body. And humans at minimum vibrate at level 3. Here it is. Because we are a combination of physical, emotional, and mental bodies, right? So below level 3, there is no humans. Normally, what happens is, in order to integrate into this human body in an easy and comfortable way, a soul would lower its vibrations to level 3 as well. And then it will be easy to integrate because they are on the same level. And after that, from incarnation to incarnation, it will start sort of like climbing a spiritual ladder in order to get back to level 7 at some point. And it might take many incarnations. I don't know, maybe 50, maybe 100, maybe 200, because we all go in different, with different speed. Some people go fast, some souls, not people, souls go fast, some make just 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards, and some just stay at the same level all the time and afraid to move any direction. So it's very individual. But the reason I'm talking about it, that most of humanity vibrates at levels 3 and 4, like 85% of the humanity. And level 3, it's the very, the consciousness vibrates at level 3. Level 3 is the most primitive level. It's all about reproduction. It's all about competing for resources. It's all about recognizing authorities and doing as we're told. And it's when we're completely and totally dominated by our egos. Level 4 is more advanced level, and probably most of the people they populating this planet, they vibrate at level 4. It's just regular human level. When we try to accumulate material goods, again, we're dominated by egos. We belong to all kind of fundamental religions, and we already do something good for humanity, like helping each other, participating in all kind of charities. But this good stuff does not yet come from our hearts. It also very often comes from egos. Something like, I do good because I will be rewarded. We become spiritual only when we reach level 5, sorry. So you can see this is the level of love, compassion, service. And now let's talk about Indigo kids. So if they were to follow like the regular path all other souls follow, if they were to first incarnate on level 3 and then gradually go up this ladder, how would they be able to fulfill their purpose right now? Probably not, because in order to promote consciousness, you have to have higher consciousness, right? And if they incarnated like everybody else into level 3, just we will need to promote their consciousness in this case. So that's why there were created so-called special portals. So normally when a soul incarnates in a human body, it sort of goes through an energetic customs belt. And at soul level, we're all very gifted. So we bring all kind of suitcases with gifts in order to use them here on Earth. And when we go through this customs belt, these customs guys who sit there, or I don't know what they do, they look at all our suitcases and they say, you know, they don't use it all on Earth. You don't need it. It's just too much. Just take 1, 2 suitcases, all the rest leave here. When you go back, you will grab them. And of course it's a joke, but there is, you know, only a piece of joke in every joke, because that's literally what happens. So when we incarnate into the physical bodies, we take only part of the gift. We remember only like about 35% of who we truly are right now. So these rules were changed for indigos. When they incarnate into physical bodies, they are allowed to take more suitcases with them of their gifts. So instead of incarnating all levels into level 3 as other souls do, they can incarnate directly into level 5, which on the one hand is great because they are able to start fulfilling their purpose right away. But on the other hand, it creates difficulties because other souls, they have time and experience in order to be able to get used to be in a physical body and then gradually raising their vibrations. And indigos, they're like thrown like kittens or puppies into water. And if you can swim, you swim. If you can't swim, you will drown. Exactly that's what happens. That's why very often it happens that they have problems with integration. Which shows up in real world like autistic kids. I'm not saying that all autistic kids are indigos or all indigos are autistic. Of course, it's not true. But one of the reasons why sometimes kids are autistic, because there is no something went wrong with integration. So something integrated really great and something did not. And that's the reason for that. And again, because they are allowed to start using more of their gifts and to incarnate to a higher level than normal other souls. So most of indigos, I will show you this previous slide again, I meet, they would be in their higher part of this level 5. So probably 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, that's where they vibrate. Like most of spiritual seekers who come to me, they might be like between 5 and 2, 5 and 5. So indigos, they're like having 3rd, 2nd, maybe 5th incarnation, they're already higher. Which means they have more access to multidimensional worlds. The higher you vibrate, the more access you have. And so more universal wisdom you can bring into everyday life. We recognize 3 types of indigos. One of them, we call them angry type. These would be kids who feel just that social life does not give them what they expect, and they just would be the kids who will, you know, even kill somebody or hurt somebody without thinking. They just don't have this feeling of guilt. They see that something is preventing them from fulfilling their purpose, just something is on their way, and they will just break through without thinking about any consequences. So they're kind of aggressive indigos, and they need special therapists. You need to work with them very carefully. So there are not many of them, but you can find them. Then most of Indigos, they are those who will make it in spite of everything. It's just probably those who you meet in everyday life. It's not easy for them. They know they're different. They know they do not fit into the society, but they will still make it. And by the way, when I work with them, the fact, like when you even tell them that don't try to be like everybody, especially when you have like teenagers, you know, like when we're teenagers, we always want to fit in. And it's not easy for them. And when you just tell them that you are here not to be like everybody else, you are here to be this black sheep or whatever you call it, and just be yourself. Shine your energy, shine your beauty. And this alone helps them a lot. I had a mom who came to me with a kid. He was probably about 20 years old, so not a teenager anymore. And he had problems with school. He would just drop off every year. He would start and then drop off. And then we had a session with him, and I told him why he is the way he is, explained everything I'm telling to you right now. And probably a month later, this mom called me and said, you know, incredible things happened. He moved out of their parents' house, finally. He got some kind of internship job for the summer, and it was beginning of summer when we met. And he is going back to school in the fall. So he kind of made it all himself without her even nagging him, and just understanding, the fact of understanding why I am the way I am, it helps them a lot. And then there are indigos who come with physical challenges, and I already explained about it. It's like autism and something like that. That's three main types. And I promised you to tell about the difference between indigos, crystals, and rainbow kids. So indigos, they were the first ones who came. So you shouldn't think that the first wave was only indigos, second wave was only crystals, and now they're only rainbows. No, that will be completely wrong. But what is true is that first one were mostly indigos. The second wave, we see already a combination of indigos and crystals. And now in the third wave, we have all three types of them. So why they're different and how they're different? So mission is still the same, to promote consciousness from within. Indigos, they're warriors, the way I see them. They come to create paths for others. They're like, find themselves in jungle where there is no path, like there are all these trees that growing, and they have their swords of truth, because remember, they're all about truth, and they just swing them and they create this path just to within this jungle. So they are really warriors. And crystals, they come the next. So they're not warriors any longer, because the path is already there, and all they need to do is to throw light onto this path. And if the main gift of indigos is truth, crystals, they always come with love. They just shine love, and they are healers. They are natural healers. They don't have to do anything to be a healer. All they need is to radiate love, and they already heal everybody who comes into their space around them. Rainbows kids, they are the newest one. We don't have much information available because most of rainbow kids I met, they have the first incarnation here. And basically I didn't even meet them. I talked with their parents. So we don't really know, we're still collecting this information. In some book I read, well, there are rainbow kids because they are attracted to all kind of shiny objects. Maybe, but it's not a characteristics how you can really distinguish between them. When I look at vibrational or energetic characteristics of rainbow kids, I found that very often they are leaders. So the way I see them, and it might change over the time, I don't know, but like if indigos come to create the path, then crystal comes to throw light onto this path, and rainbow comes to lead others on this path. And this kind of makes sense for me, but again, it's for now. The more we know, the more things might change. And actually, that's exactly what I talked about. So this little girl in front, it's a real girl. She's a daughter of one of my clients. In this picture, she was 3 years old, and these two, they're older. They're 5 and 6, and she's a rainbow. She's her first incarnation here on Earth, and you can definitely see she's a leader. So she is leading those older kids. Like 5 and 3, it's a huge difference at this age, and she is the one who is showing the way to them. So that's who they are. And a couple of words how to raise indigo children. So first of all, if you have them in your family, you need to find out their potential, so what energies they're made of, and help them express it. So you need to bring to their consciousness, or if they're little, at least to your consciousness, where the gifts are, and direct them where they can express their gifts. We need to create emotionally stable and secure environment for them. Remember, they're extremely new to this planet. They're not used to all the rules and everything that's happening here. So they need this security. So they need to feel safe. Please respect them and treat them as adults. There is really no use trying to talk down to them or trying to be an authority. They are authorities. And these kids, when they come into the family, you know immediately, it's that they come to teach us. It's not us who is teaching them, it's them who teaches us, just by the way they react to everything, just by the way they know everything. They are teachers. Honor their preferred ways of learning through exploration, not from memorizing or listening. I have some clients who come to me because they are in the process of establishing a special school for these special kids, like Indigos. It's not here, not in the US. I know there are special schools like that in Japan, because they pay a lot of attention to studying these kids and creating this safe and stable environment. And I have a group of women from Latvia, and they are, even before the virus thing happened, they were really doing a lot of work to start the school. I don't know, they might be stopped a little bit right now, but they will get it going. And this school will be based on their preferred ways of learning. And remember to give them choices in everything. Just be wise. Know that you are an adult and you can shape those choices, that it still will be the choice you want, but let them make this choice. Remember Lorenzo and his bottle of water. Don't be an authority to them. Just explain why you do things or why you give them instructions. Even if you have a baby indigo, even while you are changing their diapers, explain to them why you do it. They might not understand you with their brains, but I guarantee they will get what they need to get. They will get that you talk to them as their equal, and that's what they need to feel comfortable in this world. And I like very much this phrase, make them your own partners in raising them. So they will teach you how to raise them. Just listen to them and follow them because they know. And if you happen to be an indigo, either kid or adult, here's what you should know. You should know who you are. So find it out. If you, like, after listening to everything I had to say here, if you feel that that fits you or fits somebody within your family, just make sure that this is who you are and what your mission is, and the main thing that it is okay to be different. All indigos know they're different. It's just important for them to know that it's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. By the way, very often indigos might meet challenges in relationships area. Why? Because it's not easy to find other people who vibrate at the same level as they are, because they're much higher. I would say they are probably within the 5 highest % of the whole population as far as their vibrational level. Of course, being that high, vibrating that high, doesn't make one better or others worse. No, it's absolutely not that. But we always want to find partners who can completely understand us, right? And there are not that many who can totally understand them. That's why if it's about you, if you are in an indigo, or you just need to consciously always lower your vibrations in order to create understanding with other people. It's like as if you were living on floor 5 and other people are living on floor 4 or 3. So it's kind of useless to try to talk down to level 3 or 4, because they won't be able to hear you anyway. You need just to take an elevator and go down 1 or 2 floors and then talk to people from their level, using their language, their understanding. It doesn't mean if you go down that you lose your higher vibrational level. It just means that you can be at several levels at the same time. You can talk with normal people, you can live normal life, and at the same time you have this higher perception of everything. That's it. So just need to do it consciously. And yes, it's right that probably it's not easy to find a life partner who will completely understand you, because you are just vibrate so high. But it doesn't mean that you cannot create very beautiful relationships with somebody who vibrates lower, who is, for example, a level 4. You probably won't talk about enlightenment or metaphysics, but there are other great things to talk about here on planet Earth. And you will probably always find some circle of friends who are interested in spirituality, and you will be able to talk about these topics with them and still be in a very comfortable and fulfilling relationship. You need to understand your potential, your dominant vibrational qualities. Why? Because if whatever you do in life, you align with those dominant vibrational qualities, then you are kind of going with the flow. And just everything becomes easy to you, and when you achieve something, you are really feel fulfilled and happy, compared to if you go against your dominant vibrational qualities, then there will be no energetic support, and it will be life full of struggle. And when you get somewhere, there is no fulfillment, there is no joy, because you've been doing something that is not yours. So find out how to better build, or with what to align your life. And of course, we'll need to work on removing blocks. It concerns Indigos and all other soul groups that prevent us from expressing our potential. Indigos, they have less blocks than others, because if you had like 1,000 incarnations on Earth, or 500, you can mess up a lot. But if you have only 5 incarnations, you didn't have this many chances to mess up, but still you do have something. So that's why it's always better to get rid of them. So that's basically all the information I wanted to share with you. If you are interested to find out, like particularly about yourself or other people in your family who you think might be Indigos, I have these sessions. One is called Vibrational Retuning Sessions. It's for adults, when we look at soul group, when we look at dominant vibrations, and we look at all blocks and restrictions that prevent you from expressing your potential, and then we remove these blocks. And for kids, there is a shorter session. It's like vibrational retuning for a child. Normally it's like half the time, because kids just don't have that much issues in current life. They just didn't have much opportunities to create anything like that. So this is just for the information. And now if you have any questions, I would be glad to take them. You can all, if you want to say something, you can unmute your microphone and just talk, or you can type, whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Irina?
Yes?
How do we access your vibrational retuning session?
Let me type here my website. It is pathtoawakening.net.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, absolutely.
How do you know if a child would need, quote unquote, a retuning session or would benefit from one?
The session is not really for a child, like looking at your kid. It will not be for him, it will be for you. It's like for parents about their children. Because for you, it's very important to know what are the kid's gifts, what planet he's coming from, how to help him to adjust to this world, how he would be better. Like normally I explain to this in a way that if your kid does not have a gift for music, why teach him play piano? Let him play football and everybody will be happy, the kid and you, right? And this is probably the same, but in a bigger sense of this world. Just go with your energies and you will be happy and everybody around will be happy. And yes, sometimes kids have blocks as same way as adults. Normally within current life, they didn't have many chances to accumulate any blocks, but they come from past lifetimes. Not all of them active. The way I see it, is like we can accumulate many many blocks during many lifetimes. And before we incarnate, a soul would look through a list of all possible blocks and decide, okay, in this lifetime, I will work with this, this, and this. And then they will become active. All the rest are sort of dormant. They do not affect our lives much. right now. And even with kids, you know, there might be 1-2 blocks that are active right now, and others will become active as they go through their lives. Like there will be some trigger situation that will trigger some block and it will become active. But you want your kid to have your life, like you want him to stay in a, let's say, some place on this planet and have all 360 degrees open. Because what blocks do to us, they limit this 360. So instead of 360, some people only see 180, some people see 90 degrees, and some operate within 45, right? And we have no idea that there is a whole world around and we can go there, there, and there. But just old blocks, they create these limitations. And you want your kid just to be able to do anything he or she wants, right? I see somebody is already writing me in Russian. Thank you. I will not translate, but some grandma is saying that her granddaughter might be in Indigo. I will be happy to check it for you if you are interested. Okay, anybody else?
I tried to comment earlier. I don't know what happened. I apologize. About 20 years ago, my background is neurology, and I've worked with children on the spectrum, plus all over the bell curve from 200 IQ. And I started a school, what you're talking about, based on, I do down on Eden energy medicine. Mm-hmm. And so I tested these kids, and I wanted to add to your talk that when they get together, the energy, you see orbs in the field. Mm-hmm. It is so amazing. But the sad part is the Department of Education shut me down. So I just want you to know, when people find out, they go, oh, this is too novel, forget it. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you. I still think that, yes, the Department of Education definitely not ready for them. But we are ready, the world are ready. And if each one does a little bit of something just to help an indigo to be themselves, it will affect the whole world. So just if everyone does just something little, it will affect the whole world. And don't think that your little is little. No, it's not. When we all come together, it's like, Carla, I think, right? The name was, like Carla said, there will be orbs, there will be energy flowing, and it will affect the whole planet, because that's what they do. They're so powerful. No, it's not .com, it's .net. Somebody asked about my website. It's pathtoawakening.net. Any more questions?
I'll be glad to add one more thing.
Sure.
My daughter is Indigo, and brilliant, got poetry. You know, I don't want to brag, but anyway, Georgetown, fearless. You didn't talk about fear at all. They are absolutely fearless, because she is a marine biologist in Australia and swims with sharks, and they never touch her. They're like puppies around her. I just thought you might find that interesting, because she has no fear.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to add that component of it.
That's very true. I kind of talked a little bit about fear when I talked about angry indigos, but actually this can be very positive as well. Yeah, very true. By the way, in my family, we have 3 generations of indigos, my father, myself, and my son. And like, as I, at some point, you know, when people would ask me if you can describe your family, it's when my son was still a kid. And I would always reply to them that, you know, my father, my son, and myself were from one planet, and my mom is from another planet. And I always made it like a joke, till one day I found out it wasn't a joke at all. So that's what truly happened. So we somehow attract each other, even within one family. So just look around who you have around you, because if you are here for whatever reason you are interested in this topic, that means you meet them in your life. Or maybe you are just sitting next to a little indigo, or this indigo is sitting in your lap, who knows. So thank you very much for listening to me. Gail, if you want to say something, you are very, very welcome.
Thank you so much, Irina, and thank you all for being here. And we are always grateful. So blessings. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll meet again somewhere someday. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.